Nigeria is pursuing digital sovereignty through a strategy that includes creating its own cloud infrastructure, developing local tech talent and industries, and establishing robust data protection and digital rights framework. But how knowledgeable are Nigerians of this stride and how can they plug into it? We'll be answering these questions and more in the course of the program. My name is Leah Babatunde and you're welcome. As always, we begin the business of the day from the trends table.
The Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, OAGF, has assured that a software upgrade within the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System, IPPIS, will not result in a delay of October salaries. The OAGF in a statement explained that IPPIS previously operated 3 payroll platforms, but the federal government has decided to consolidate all payroll activities under the SoftShield application. The office emphasized that the integration of all payroll processes into a single platform has been carefully managed, and while minor issues may arise during the transition, all observed errors and omissions are being addressed promptly. The House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the $460 million closed-circuit television (CCTV) project awarded to a Chinese firm for surveillance in Abuja, following concerns that the system has remained non-functional despite Nigeria servicing the loan obtained for it. This followed a motion of urgent national importance that was moved Wednesday by Amobi Oga of the Labour Party, Abia State, during the plenary, where lawmakers decried the continuous repayment of the loan obtained for the abandoned insecurity infrastructure. Presenting the motion, Mr. Oga reminded the House that the most important responsibility of any government is the protection of lives and property and the entrenchment of security to ensure good governance. The Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC), Dr. Imomotemi Agama, has said that the global shift towards sustainable finance is redefining investment decisions, corporate governance and risk management, adding that Nigeria's capital markets must adapt to remain competitive and relevant. Speaking at the 2025 annual conference of the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers in Abuja, Dr. Agama describes sustainability as a global imperative that goes beyond technology and ethics, noting that environmental, social and governance (ESG) considerations are now shaping responsible investment and capital allocation across the world. Agama stressed that the stockbrokers and other market operators have a critical role to play by promoting sustainable investment products, advising issuers on ESG disclosures, and guiding investors towards responsible assets. The West African Development Bank has successfully completed a historic bond issuance of €1 billion with a 15-year maturity on the international capital market. The deal drew strong investor interest, generating a record €2.7 billion order book. This robust appetite enabled a 35 basis point spread tightening, resulting in a high-yield coupon of 6.25%. This deal represents an important milestone for the continent's multilateral development banks (NDBs), as it constitutes the longest euro-dominated benchmark bond ever issued by an African MDB, and proceeds will be allocated to priority high-impact projects across the West African Economic and Monetary Union.
Next is our policy conversation with the Director General of NITDA. At the just concluded meetings of the World Bank at the IMF in Washington, D.C., the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, was represented in some of the meetings, and I caught up with the DG and CEO of the agency, and he shares some information into his participation at the meetings.
Thank you very much. We are here to share the transformative agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and how that transformation is driving rural prosperity in Nigeria. Even though the core of the theme of the conversation is around rural electrification using renewable energy. But we look at it like the renewable energy is not the end goals. It is a fundamental enabler. It is a catalyst for everything else. Because when there is power, connectivity follows. And when connectivity arrives, it ignites every other transformation. It empowers people with technology to achieve 10x leap in productivity, in getting opportunities, efficiency, and so on.
All through the meetings, there were conversations around artificial intelligence and for countries like Nigeria to bridge the digital divide. And these are his thoughts on that.
The future is about technology. It is about AI. AI is a general purpose technology. It's going to be more powerful than electricity. It will transform everything we do, from agri to finance to education to anything you can think of. AI will transform it. So at NIDA, we've been intentional and strategic when it comes to positioning Nigeria on how to lead in AI transformation. We started by establishing a center, the National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. Then we crafted our national strategy, because without strategy, you won't know your choices and you won't have a direction. But the strategy is giving us a direction on where we are going. And our vision is clear. It's about building sustainable, responsible, and inclusive AI system that will foster sustainable development across the country.
He also spoke on NIDA's vision for Nigeria and the plans to actualize them.
Our vision is to make Nigeria a digitally empowered nation, fostering inclusive economic growth through technological innovation. Technology on its own, it is not a vertical sector, but it permeates across horizontal, every critical sector. How can we use technology to enhance productivity and efficiency in agri, in health, in finance, in education, in anything you can think of, trade, commerce, everything. So today, technology is pervasive, it's integrated everywhere. So our vision as an agency is to catalyze that adoption and accelerate it.
On the agency's role in the long and short run in shaping the digital future, here's what he had to say.
So our strategy also is clear. As we win today, we need to shape the future. Technology evolves, and as it evolves, you need to evolve with it. So we have a strategic roadmap and action plan with 8 strategic pillars. The first one is to foster digital literacy and cultivate talents, which we are implementing to win the battle of today, to create jobs for our citizens, to make sure every citizen has access to digital infrastructure and services, to make sure we use technology to drive national prosperity and inclusivity. The second pillar is on creating robust technology research ecosystem, which is more futuristic. The first one is to help us win today, and the second one is to shape our tomorrow, where we focus on AI, IoT, UAV, blockchain, and additive manufacturing. That's the 6 technologies we are looking at. They are all general purpose technology. They cut across all economic sectors, and they can drive growth and national prosperity.
Trust is an issue for the regulator, and Mr. Kashifu tells me how his team and himself intend to garner the trust of stakeholders?
So for me personally, my leadership philosophy is about trust, because I believe that when there is trust, everything will become simple. So as an ecosystem, government is working with everyone, and we are reinventing our social contract with the ecosystem. We are engaging them. We are co-creating and co-design everything. The president is clear. He wants to build an economy that is private sector led, but government enabled. So to achieve that, it's not something government will sit in the office, use armchair theory to come up with policies and regulation. But government engage the ecosystem players to co-create and co-design policies and regulations. So that what will help us to rebuild the trust, because already we have trust deficit. We were coming from a situation whereby governments and private sector were not engaging, were playing blame game. But today we are in a situation whereby government and private sector sit together in a room to co-design and co-create initiative, and we jointly own and implement those initiatives. To strengthen that, the president also approved a new PPP policy where government can use a private sector funds to build infrastructure that can create value and drive national prosperity and inclusivity. So at the digital sector also, we are exploring this. How can we use private sector to build digital public infrastructure? One key example is Project Bridge, launched by our minister to roll 90,000 fiber optics kilometers. Another one is our digital literacy for all, which we are partnering with private sector to develop our national digital fluency. When you do that, you have more users. Our citizens will embrace technology and use it. That can create value. When value is created, private sector captures the values.
It was not just about challenges, as he shares some of the gains NIDA had attained and how they've impacted Nigerians.
So NIDA was established in 2001 to implement the national IT policy. When the agency was established, less than 500,000 Nigerians were using computers, and ICT was contributing less than 0.5% to our GDP. But today we have more than 130 million Nigerians with access to internet. That means they are not just using computers, but they have access to internet, which is more than 51% of our population. And today, ICT is contributing more than 17% to our GDP. So look at it. And this is just ICT, not digital economy. Because when you talk about digital economy, it's beyond ICT. Digital economy is any economy that is being stimulated by technology. Today, you cannot talk about finance sector without technology. You cannot talk about entertainment without technology. Everything technology is embedded. So if you can rebase the GDP contribution, digital economy contribution will be more than that 17%. Then part of the recent success stories of NIDA is like the data protection, which has created an industry and led to establishing a new autonomous commission. The president signed the Nigerian Data Protection Act into law in 2023. And also our push to building our digital sovereignty. Because also as a nation, we need to have a capacity for our digital self-determination. Today, we don't control our data. We don't control the systems we use. We don't even have digital infrastructure that can help us to succeed in the future. So we are working with the private sector as well to come up with policies that can help us create the enabling environment for us to achieve our digital sovereignty as a nation.
We also took a deeper insight into the question around addressing the digital divide.
So we look at digital divide from two angles. Firstly, the accessibility of the digital technology. And the second one is the literacy, because access without literacy is meaningless. We want people to have the technology and to use it meaningfully. In the area of access, we do a lot of intervention in building digital economy centers around the country. From 2023 to date, we've built over 220 digital economy centers. And our target is before 2027, we are going to build over 500 centers. And we also have an initiative, project 774, where we want to have at least a center in every local government. This will provide connectivity to people. And also I mentioned about Project Bridge, which is also to provide connectivity. Then in terms of digital literacy, we are implementing the National Digital Literacy Framework through an initiative called Digital Literacy for All in 3 buckets. The first one is in the formal education, integrating digital literacy and skills into our formal education. We have worked with the Ministry of Education to develop digital literacy and skills curriculum, which has been approved, and the President has directed for implementation to start immediately. Now we are training teachers on how to start teaching digital literacy and skills. We've done a proof of concept with some universities on making digital literacy a general studies in universities. And now we are working with NUC to mainstream that, to make digital literacy a general studies the same way every student take English and mathematics. Now you must take digital literacy and skills. We are also partnering with NYSC to ensure that every Nigerian, the market women, the motor park workers, our senior citizens, people in the religious places have basic digital literacy as well. We have infrastructure deficit. Mostly you get this infrastructure in big cities like Lagos and Abuja. But for us to succeed and drive national prosperity, we need to democratize access to this infrastructure across the country. That's why we are rolling the connectivity project. We are pushing for hyperscalers to come and build the compute power within Nigeria. We are also coming up with policies that will help us to have a data set, a clean data set, and open data, because you need data to innovate. We have the National Data Strategy. We have established the Nigerian Data Protection Commission, and we have a legislation, the Act, and we are driving data classification now that will help us also to know what can go into the public cloud and what can stay in country. So these are the challenges and what we are doing to address those challenges so that we can create an enabling environment for technical innovation.
He then spoke about partnerships and collaborations that NIDA has established to drive digital innovation.
So we have many partners we are working with locally and international partners. Like I mentioned JICA, we are working with KOICA, we are working with big techs like Cisco is helping us building content for all the digital literacy initiative. They are doing it as part of the CSR. We are not paying for it. Our citizens can go and take the courses online and globally recognized certificates, and it counts for the degree programs. We are partnering with Google, Microsoft, and we are partnering with even Huawei from China and other development partners like DCO, the Digital Cooperation Organization. We are partnering with ITU to do some events and activities. And before also, we worked even with the World Bank to implement some initiatives targeted at women. Before also, we have an Ignite Her initiative, which is supported by JICA. We also have initiatives we are doing with GIZ. Today we are launching an initiative in partnership with GIZ and the umbrella body of traders in Nigeria, which is about digital trust mark. Then we also partner with EU and FCDO from UK. We've worked with USAID from US before, and even the US government, we have very good relationship. So we have a broad list of partners we work together, both from international organizations and local ones. Most of the capital today comes from especially from the West, but US in particular. So that framework is creating some patient capital. We are also creating capital for impact. Like recently, we have through our partnership with JICA, we are creating a patient fund of about 40 million US dollars, which is going to be for impact. And other initiatives of Mr. President, like the Youth Entrepreneurship and Innovation Bank, which is going to be an initiative supported by African development banks and other development partners. It is going to establish a fund that will help provide capital for the innovation ecosystem. And also we have the IDIs, which is also has reached an advanced stage in terms of implementation. So all this initiative will help us address the capital challenge.
Is there ever an end to the set goals?
For me, I see it as an infinite game. It doesn't have a clear end line. When we reach the objectives of today, we are going to set the goals for tomorrow. So it keeps evolving, because when you have a finite target, that means you will not strive continuously. So like we have our leadership principles. For everything we do, we make clarity, we unleash energy, we build trust, we win today, and we shape tomorrow.
And that wraps the conversation. Simplify This is next, and from there we'll take you to the local commodities markets. We draw the curtains here. Don't forget that you can catch up with market details and more on our sister website. It is www.marketnigeriatv.com. And remember to follow us on our various social media platforms. The Policy with Leah is available on YouTube on our channel. You can also watch us via our partner stations, Captain TV, Global TV Nigeria, and KSMC News. Until we come your way again, same time next week, be good out there and God bless Nigeria.